Hey yogis, this video is about asana, and I guess I would call it tips and tricks to advancing in asana. It's because of a question I got from a student on which yogis progress in asana, in their asana practice, and which ones don't, and why. And it's something I've noticed over the past 10, 20 years. And interestingly, it's not the things that one would always assume that cause a student to make progression in their asana. So I thought I'd just chat about it for a little while, maybe a list of 5 to 10 sort of things. Okay. The first one's obvious, and it's attendance. So if you don't practice, then you won't progress. Attendance is necessary. I won't say it's everything because it's just a prerequisite. If you're coming once, twice a week, then Ashtanga is just not going to work. A little bit of training benefit, but in terms of actually developing, you need to come 3 or more times, and the yogis that really progress, have a daily practice. So that's 5 or 6 times a week. The next thing that seems to be really important is that yogis don't take big breaks from practice. Sure, you might go on a holiday here and there, but it's really year after year of regular practice. If a student practices really hard for 6 months and then takes 6 months off and then does it again, it doesn't seem to work. So that would be the second thing. The third thing, interestingly, is you have to leave a little bit left each day. I think for the students that destroy themselves on the mat, by the end of the week, there's nothing left. Even for the next day, there's nothing left. They're feeling it in their legs. They're not comfortable going into a stretch. They're making maybe little micro tears in their muscles. They just get exhausted, and that's not going to work. So I think from what I've seen, the students that progress, they have a good session each day, but they don't leave it all out there. They keep within their boundaries, and they finish the practice strongly. Of course, if you're doing poses that are strength-based poses, such as Titibhasana, while you're working through that pose, it's going to take a lot out of you. So for those months or years you're on that pose, they'll be a bit tougher. But in general, leave a little bit in the bank each day. Next one, I guess this would be the fourth, is a little bit of a weird one, but for some reason, the students that do the chant, opening chant, Vande Guranam, and closing chant as well, those that dedicate to the chant seem to make a lot more progress. And I've had to think about why. The answer is I don't know why, but it could be a sort of placebo effect. If we see sort of from a Joseph Campbell perspective that the mysterious Sanskrit chant gives a bit of magic to the practice, I think maybe that placebo effect makes a difference. Whatever it is, maybe the ones who chant are more in when they chant, and that carries through the practice, more focused. Maybe they're more dedicated, who knows, but that seems to make a really significant difference. The students that come up and chant at the front and vinyasa up to chant at the end of practice, really, really significant difference. They tend to advance a lot more, progress faster. Next would be the vinyasa. So I think generally we would say it's about a 50% effort between effort in the vinyasa compared to effort in the asana. Those students that ignore the vinyasa, just sort of step through and let the knees hang down to the ground, things like that, they don't seem to progress so much. Those that, for whatever level they're at, whether it's jumping back, jumping through, floating, or whether it's just a little cleaner step, elbows in, really keeping good positioning, they tend to progress much, much more quickly, holding that good form through the vinyasa and pushing themselves to develop the vinyasa. Some students love the asana. They believe that yoga is the asana. Yeah, in some yoga forms it is, but not in Ashtanga. In Ashtanga, the vinyasa is just as important as the asana. Okay. I'd say that one other thing is keeping your mat clean. So yogis that use a lot of accessories, that's blocks and straps, and they're adjusting their mat. They want a rug for this pose, not a rug for that pose. They'll move it this way, that way, all that sort of thing. They tend to be very distracted, and they not only end up having a less effective practice, but for some reason those yogis end up missing more days. Oh, what's happened to my my camera lens has slipped down. I'll see if I can put it back up. Hope it stays. Oh dear, what's happening here? Maybe I can tighten it somehow. It doesn't seem to want to twist. This is magical video recording here. I think it's meant to twist in. Maybe if I put it over the edge like this. See if we can pop it over there. You might notice the first video I put up was really widescreen. It's the type of old iPhone I've got. This old iPhone 12 mini. So I got a little lens for it. Okay. Haha, there we go. We're back. All right, where was I? Yeah, so cut the accessories. Some people go overboard. They even have a little crystal next to their mat. Okay, an eye mask, a mala. Yeah, check that stuff out. Not necessary. One thing that good yogis do, yogis that will progress more, is they don't leave the mat. If the teacher gives them a stretch or an exercise to do, of course, they'll leave the mat for that. But in general, there's no reason to leave the mat. You don't need to have a drink. Obviously, it's Ashtanga. You don't need to go to the toilet. It's Ashtanga, okay? Just do your practice and accept whatever the circumstances are that you are practicing under. Okay, that's what we're doing. Also, leaving the mat and trying little stretches, things like that, it just wastes time. Okay, it takes you out of the yoga. The yogis that progress seem to keep it lighthearted. They don't seem to take Ashtanga too seriously. There are some people who are very serious Ashtangis. They don't like anyone laughing in the room, and they don't notice that anyone else is practicing. It's all focus, 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 focus. Oh, look, now the camera in this position is affecting the light, so it's all gone dark. Disaster video. Doesn't matter. So they keep it lighthearted, they have fun, they laugh, especially in adjustments. If things don't go well, if they don't manage a pose, it doesn't affect them mentally. Yeah, just happening, doing what it does. Okay. I'm gonna have to adjust this camera again because look, it's making the screen go completely dark. I can twist it up. This is my little cheap lens. Non-functioning lens. I'll try it again. Aha. Maybe it'll stay. Maybe it won't stay. We'll see. Okay. In general, not leaving the mat, but keeping it relaxed and happy in a practice, you will eventually not break the count for extended periods of time. That means from ekam to dwe to trini to chatwari. Okay, you're not say you jump through in Marichasana C. Up the inhale, jump through, take the bind, exhale there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ashta, round to the front, lift up. Okay, Nava, exhale, Chatwari. So there are many students that'll turn around, they'll take a few breaths here, there, before they take the bind. When they come to the front, they'll inhale round to the front, and then they'll exhale there, and then inhale to lift. No. Stick to the count. So I think students that end up succeeding in asana, they're much more count focused. Okay, they just let it take them along the practice from beginning to end, and so they don't end up using mental strength, mental fortitude. The count carries the breath, and the breath carries the practice. Okay. In this, there's a rhythm in the practice. So the breaths of a successful yogi tend to be the same length breath through a vinyasa as there is in an asana. Okay, and you'll notice some students, when they get to Navasana or a Tita Hasta Padangusthasana, their breaths get really fast, and then come to a vinyasa and their breaths are really slow. That's not going to help you. So keeping breaths the same length is really helpful as well. These things, they're not super necessary and they don't need to be focused on, but if there's one or two things that I've commented on that you think, maybe I could improve that, then they're not hard to change. So have a go at that. And if you have any questions about specific things, just ask me in class. All right, yogis, see you on the mat.